in, share it to the right, to the left, whichever one is going to work for you. Just waiting for a few people to come on so we can get the party started. 30 seconds. Thank you for the thumbs up. Appreciate it. Y'all better go get somebody. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning to you. Gwen got radio show, y'all. How about that? Wow, this show is gonna blow your mind. I promise you, it's gonna be sure fire up in the camp today. We just gonna go all out today. So let me get my announcements out of the way. Bring my guest in. The prayer breakfast is tomorrow. Shall we pray? It's tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Tickets are still available up until 9 o'clock tonight or at the door tomorrow morning. Starts at 9, over at 1. Fantastic speaker, Pastor James E. Sturdivant of Faith United Ministries. My God, it's going to be a time. It's going to be lit in the camp, I promise you. So you need to go ahead and get your ticket and come on by. There are going to be vendors there. If you need information, please call 301-672-7521. I can answer your questions. Vendors, you're more than welcome. You want to come on by, just come give me a call, and I'll send you a contract, and we can get the show on the road. The caterer is off the rocket. I tell you, I promise you, you won't be sorry. You'll be full spiritually, and you'll be full physically. So come on through and help me celebrate my second annual prayer breakfast. And I promise you that you will want to come to the next one and the next one and the next one. So if you missed the first one, you missed the phenomenal speaker, Pastor Leron Atkinson. Man, let me tell you something. The flow was there. If you missed it, I'm sorry for you. Anyway, wow, I'm going to introduce my guest to you today. And we're going to have fun up in the camp today. It's going to be lit. I promise you it's going to be lit. Good morning to everybody. Here we go. Let's start the ride right now. To my right would be this my son, my grandson's son, y'all. This my son, my grandson. This is Malik. Malik, introduce yourself to the people.
How are you doing today? I'm here, Malik, Leek Mooney. I got a lot of nicknames, so whatever you want to call me, I'm in the building today.
Just don't call you late for dinner. Okay, that works for me too. And on my right, straight fire. I bet y'all didn't even know he was here. I got one up on you. Look at this. Look at this. Look. My forever, ever, and ever, Pastor Leron Atkinson. Pastor, introduce yourself to the folks.
Hello, everyone. I am glad to be here, excited to be here, proud to be here with none other than the infamous Minister Gwen Thompson, the Intentional Radio Show, and her great, amazing, adult, grown Malik. I'm excited to be here.
Right?
Back home in D.C.
Wow, I'm so glad you're here. Oh my God, I cannot tell. If I slept 20 minutes last night, I slept 10. I was like, oh my God, he coming. Oh my God, he coming. I'm so glad you're here. I don't know what to do with yourself. Let's talk about you, Pastor Leron. What you got going on?
Whew. I have a lot going on these days. I have been here for the last few days. Came into town for some quite unfortunate news. We have local pastors and friends of ours. McLeod's lost a daughter, Aja. So we give much respect to Andre and Pastor Kim. We thank God for them and sending much prayers to them. So I'm here to mourn with those who mourn, smile with them to smile, celebrate with those who celebrate, family out with those with family. That's what I'm here for.
Wow. Let's talk about, before we get started, y'all, the topic for today is ratchet and righteous. We're gonna let you guess who's gonna be which one. Ah, so let's talk about and you're welcome.
And you're welcome.
And you're welcome.
So let's talk about and you're welcome. And you're welcome. It brought. I do much a lot on social media. My style is kind of controversial at times. It's kind of in your face. Most of the things that I write are going to make you think. You're not abstract. You're not a thinker. It may not necessarily. It may bother you if you only think about it one way. But that's kind of what it's geared to do, make you think.
Yes.
So, and you're welcome sparked out because someone kept taking my post and making their own, which I thought was hilarious, robbing at everything about me. And then they took a personal story.
Oh no.
And when they took the personal story, I was tickled, but I just went on their post and said, you could have at least said thank you, liked, shared, commented. So I went on their post. I just woke up feeling petty and I was like, oh, wow, you stole that one too. And I said, and you're welcome. And all of the whole page, I put, and you're welcome. You're welcome for this, you're welcome for that. And so I decided, let me take this and do something with it. So I write my post and I put, and you're welcome for all of those who want to take, borrow, steal, and not give credit. I know you're thankful. So I'm going to go ahead on and show manners to you since you didn't show manners to me first.
And say hi and you're welcome.
And so it has become a trend.
Yes.
It has become established. We have an app being done, books. The book is coming out so that somebody's going to copy you in this season. You make it really, really hard. Make it a really hard act to follow. And so that's what And You're Welcome is spiral from.
But you always a hard act to follow. That goes without saying. And I called the show. I made a mistake in my speaking because I was so excited. He oh my God, he just makes me want to preach. But anyway, today's show is Pimps in the Pulpit round 2. We're gonna get it from 2 male perspectives about the church and how you get pimped in the church or pimped with your time or pimped with your money. So it's nothing derogatory. So I always tell y'all, if you send me something crazy, I'm going to clap back. It'll be nice and kind, but I'm going to clap back. So with that being said, let's just jump right in. Let's just jump right into the. So my question to the both of you is, when we say we spend a lot of time, let's start with time in church. Is there a limit on the time that you should spend in church from a millennial's perspective, opposed to pastoral perspective? What do you think?
Okay, I would say I wouldn't necessarily put a time limit on it, but I say it should be, how can I say this? It should be some type of structure. So if you say church starts at, praise and worship will start at 10:30, and then your service will start at 11. 1 o'clock, 1:30. By 1:30, you should be leaving. So I would say the service starts at 11. You get your announcements, all that out the way. Pastor comes on 11:30. 12:45, he should be wrapping it up. You should hit all your points and have them strong. If you don't hit all your points in a certain amount of time, you should have at least 3 strong points that you could double back to get your word out and be gone. So I say 11, 1:30 latest.
What you say, Pastor?
So let me ask Malik a question. So what is your goal? What is it that you want when you come to service? What is it that you want?
When I come to a service, I wanna be able to feel the how can I say this? I say feel the vibe or feel the yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm trying to,
I got you.
okay, feel the anointing. So like I was saying, start at 11, 11:45, preacher comes on, and I should be able to feel what you're saying. And come on, you gotta work with me.
So
Work with me.
question. What's the longest service you have ever been in your life?
In my life. Okay. Okay, they say the praise and worship starts at 10:30, so we get there at 11. So from 11 to 3,
Oh Jesus!
we got back to the car at 3:20. So from 10:30 to 3:30, we were in church. The longest service I ever been to.
Wow.
Hey,
How much of that service did you retain, or would you find that you remembered, you retained? that you were able to use from in your practical life?
Nothing.
Wow.
Hi, Darren. Oh, Lord.
Wow.
God.
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
So let me ask this question as it regards to, I'm putting Pastor Leron on the hot seat now. As it regards to, okay, if you had to hear any other preacher preach in the state of Maryland, Virginia, and DC, who would it be?
This man sitting to my left, right here.
Pastor Leron?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Why? I want to hear that. Excuse my humility.
All right. I will honestly say that he has done everything that I've just named. Where the church will start at 11. He will have his points, and they will be strong. It's not like I'm going to sit there and miss anything he's saying or to go over my head. Well, he will break it down to where, where everybody understands what he's saying, even the young people. So it's not like he's missing anything in his speech. He's saying everything, and he's getting the word out to everybody within the 11 to 1:30 period.
Wow.
See why you my forever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
Well, I think a lot of times for many people, I think a lot of times we have to push reset on how our congregations or parties who are listening, how their lives are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be anywhere all day long.
Right.
That's a reality.
Right.
I don't think it's a millennial issue. It's not a young people issue, or old people issue. It's a respect issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think if we begin on time and we get things together and flow, we can actually do more in less time. And it doesn't take 5 or 6 hours. That shouldn't be the staple. It can be something that can be an exception.
Right.
If I know it's going to be long in my mind, I'm already planning what parts I want to skip out on, what I want to do, what I don't want to do, because now I have to figure out what else I'm going to do with the other parts of my day. And it's a certain level, it becomes inconsiderate.
Right. Oh.
Yeah, it becomes inconsiderate.
Right. And, right. Absolutely. I so agree, because I know people today that go to church at 10 o'clock in the morning and don't get home till the next day. Literally, word of truth, literally don't get home till the next day, or at least spending 12 hours in a church. But then when I say, that's very inconsiderate of your time. You're being pimped for real, because how do you raise your children? How do you cook? How do you, say stuff to your husband? How do you how is it that you can spend that much time in church and the rest of your life fall apart? That's not the will of God. Even God himself took a break. And so I think that when they do that, you're right. It's inconsiderate of time. It's inconsiderate of your children. You're not, because you're not married and you're the preacher and you're not married, you don't really care. But those people who have families, who have little children, and so what, you feed me in between two services. I have other things to do as it relates to being in church. I just think that when you're in church all day, you have there's no rhyme or reason why you should have your church to just linger on all day long. Now, and they always throw up the thing, well, you went to the club, and you say, no, because the club closed at 2:00, boo. So you're still not there all night. But I just think that when people start to pimp you with your time, I mean, time is of the essence, because you're here today and gone tomorrow. So how much time are you actually spending with your family or with people that you love, because you're spending all of this time with this pastor or bishop or archdiocese or whatever they want to be called, and you're spending all this time in it, but you don't have time to do anything else. And then by the time you get home, you're so tired that your children are being neglected now, because you just allowed somebody to pimp the time that you did have. And and then then you having these meetings, and God built the world in what, 6 days? On the seventh day took a break. It is no way possible that you can sit and tell me. I mean, God got a lot to say, but I mean, not in the aspect of where you're taking my time from me. I just think that people should be very careful and considerate of other people's time. And I have to agree with Malik. When you had Ecclesia, there was a set time for everything. And I think that's why, I'm sure that's why I am the way I am today, because he birthed ministry in me. And I'm not gonna sit here and say, well, no, he birthed ministry. I would not touch a microphone. And he's like, no, you're gonna do this. And I was like, no, at the same time, I agree with him, because you had everything structured. It was all structured. This person was gonna do this. This person this is how this is gonna go. I'm gonna preach. This is this and this. This is this. And I'm so accustomed to that now. And so when it's out of order for me, it's out of order for me.
Well, here one of the things that probably helped me with it is with church ministry, being married and things. You have a family. You have to have those type of responsibilities. So we had families.
Right.
So these are things that I'm cognizant of, and I'm thinking about blah blah blah. I'm thinking about prior to the service. I'm considering my demographic.
Right.
There are some teens who probably, some of them may have gotten dragged here. They don't want to be here. They're like,
Right.
oh, here we go, just another, whatever.
Yeah,
So it's
true.
it's my thought process. I need to make sure that I'm in every phase of each and every part,
Right.
etc., so that they're being impacted. When God stopped talking, let me stop talking as well too, so that these parties that are here, now I can be chatty, I can talk, so I know I got to put a little system in place.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is I want to make sure that when people leave that service, you do have time to be a wife,
Right.
to be a husband, to put into practice whatever it is that you've heard and seen. And we can't do that around each other. That's a lot of times I think problems ensue because people spend too much time with people that you're not supposed to spend time with. And then people don't end up getting along, having these other type issues, because you should be home working out your soul salvation with your family,
Right.
working in your communities and things of that sort, not spending unnecessary amounts of time overdoing it in the name of fellowship, in the name of service. That's not God's intention.
Yeah,
And it's unhealthy.
I agree. I absolutely agree, because it just throws for me, it just throws the course of life off.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like you're in church morning, noon, and night, Monday through Sunday, Monday again. Yeah, 24/8. Because it's just not. I don't know. It's just not. And I think that's what because Malik and I have a lot of conversations, and I think that that's one of the conversations that throws him off. It's like, well, why do you spend, this much time, not me, but why do you spend this much time in church? And what about everything else that falls, on the wayside, because you're there, and, the good bishop is having this meeting, or, that meeting, and we got a call, and then you texted him and he texting you, and what the world? No, that is not the way that was meant to be. I don't understand it. And then you now Bible says you're supposed to pay your tithes and your offerings. I got that. But then when you hit that line, that that if you don't give me this $1,000, and God is not going to bless you, and if you don't, and if you don't have it, don't get in the line. And the woman in the Bible gave her last mites, and that was what? Pennies. And the Lord said she gave more than everybody else did. So who are you to tell me that if I don't get in your $1,000 line to help your honorarium, or to help you do whatever you need to do, that God's not going to bless me? If I don't have a dime, what am I? If I'm on a fixed income, you mean to tell me that if I can't give you my $1,000 on a fixed income, that God is not going to bless me? That is not the God I serve. The God I serve is plentiful and will give. You can't beat his giving. And so I understand now more than ever before that, people can be very, very persuasive, I would say.
Manipulative.
Yeah, that's
intentional.
Yeah.
Let me open up another concept of that. There are manipulative leaders, but then there are also people that I've discovered that enjoy that level of manipulation. They enjoy it, and if you don't manipulate them, if you don't lie, if you don't cheat, if you are honest, there are people that actually do not appreciate it. Wow. If you're not being yelled at or controlled, and part of that comes in how people have learned to love, learn to be loved, or to accept love. And so a person that is used to any form of abuse, a language or tone that's abusive, even something that abuses your time, that abuses you financially, if you don't see that as a problem, then you don't know it's a problem. Bondage is big business.
Wow.
It's big business.
Wow.
And to keep you in a place of bondage or to keep you just hungry enough to come back, or dependent, reliant. It keeps you trapped into a system and an appetite that makes you say, I need to come back for this. I can't get this anywhere else or get that anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And so it opens you up for other forms of poison. The danger of it is that when you get used to that form of manipulation, you get used to the lies and people feed into it. A person that says this isn't right seems like the rebel. A person that says
Right.
this needs to be fixed seems like they're crazy.
Right.
And you talk too much, go along. Heck no, I ain't just going along. I'm a responder. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to respond for the rest of my life. I'm going to respond on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm a responder. And people that are responders and that have voices, you owe it to yourself to use that voice to make changes and help make staples in different lives that you come in contact with and impact. And so when you look at even how monies are handled, there are those who are looking forward to, and they come particularly to be taken advantage of.
Wow.
You say, what do you like to do for fun? Your hobbies. Be used. What do you do on the weekend in your spare time? I like to be used because I get to complain that I'm being used.
Right. That doesn't make sense.
And I see that if you don't lie to folk, you can give them a false prophecy, and that same person is there. You told me something, you gave them attention, and they'll give you their check.
Yes.
And so for certain parties, they know that if I don't lie, I don't eat.
Right. Absolutely.
And unfortunately,
absolutely,
we have leaders that are under that impression. And so they're coming for those who will pay them for their lies.
So for that vacation that they're trying to take,
and they're coming Tesla to say I was used, or I was taken advantage of, and that's not everyone. It's a very unfortunate system, and it all stems from just having unhealthy, unbalanced relationships that were forged a lot of times out of abuse, spiritual abuse, natural abuse, emotional abuse. It's an unhealthy mentality.
So I know, like one of my former guests that were here, they said pretty much the same thing. Pastor Eunice, she was saying that when people get manipulated into doing things, and then it becomes regular, and then you start, it becomes social. Then you start sponsoring, like I said, their vacations and their cars and paying their mortgage. And where's the integrity in all of that? And how does it relate as a millennial as to if you don't have X amount of dollars, or as to what Pastor LeRon was saying, how does that?
It would really throw you off in a way, because for one, it's a lot of kids now that everybody's been dragged to church. So 9 times out of 10, they were dragged to be there. So they really don't want to be there already. So when they come, they're not going to be paying attention. They just ready to go home. So when you do catch their attention and you have it, when you put a number on an offering or anything, it'll make it seem like, oh, it's like they're just after the money now. Why couldn't I just give what I have? Like if I have $5 in my pocket, you say, don't come up here if you don't have a $35 or more offering. It's like why did you have to put a number on it? This could have been all I had. And I felt the way when you were preaching that made me want to give my $5 to you. But now I can't because you said a $35 or more. So it make it seem like, you're just in it for the money.
So you think that there should be a number on it?
No, it should never be a number. It's just if it's in your heart to give, then give what you have. But don't put a number on it.
But then sometimes God will say, sow a seed of.
Okay, but you can say that and also put on it. But if you don't have it, we will still accept, X, Y, and Z.
Okay, I got that part. So that
how you say it.
Yeah. It's not what you say, how you say it, and that just makes it. Does that make it easier as a millennial, or what is your view on how does that make you feel after you discover that they put this number on it and then you don't have that number?
I don't want to make it seem like I'm speaking for everybody, because I can only speak for.
It's a millennial point of view.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't want to
But you're not speaking for everybody. You're speaking for you.
So I'm gonna just say, well, for me, like I said, it'll just make me feel
some kind of way.
Yeah, some kind of way. You can't really describe it in words, but it'll make me feel some type of way, as in, maybe this isn't the church for me. We'll just say it like that. Maybe, maybe there's somewhere better for me to be, or you know. But that's just how. Yeah.
So is that a proper way to handle um when you want to give? Because I know that with you, it the whole 10 years we were together, it was never that way. It was never that way. Because I remember times where you would say, "No, we're not doing that," and we wouldn't, and which made me respect you even the more because you weren't after my pockets, you were after my soul. And that was like, wow, that just, I mean, it just did something for me where I had been prior to that, where take the money and run. But
yeah.
I just it made me feel like this is how it's supposed to be, and this is how it's supposed to be done, even in the millennial, because Malik and I have a lot of conversations about you, whether you know what or not. So if your ears are burning, we talking about you a
Oh
lot.
wow.
And so he would say, he's like, "Nana, well, um, Pastor Lebron was the only person that would keep my attention." It's like, really? He's like, yeah,
That's very
because
true.
is because of what he would say and how you would relate to him, he could identify with it. So then we other churches, and he's like, "No, I ain't going back. That's we done. It's
Well,
it's a
the
wrap."
finance piece. Let me say to that part. Here's how I would say I would do it different, or how it would be done differently. From all ages, I think that a lot of times what we may say we may hide or not necessarily share with various cultures. Now the times are different.
Mhm.
Say these are our goals. These are our budget. This is our budget. This is what we need to do. This is how, and make them a part of a conversation. If you're a part of a vision,
Wow.
if I'm a part of a vision, I need to understand what that vision is, what the objective is, so that I need to know that the people who are coming, who are being fed, that believe in that vision, you should want to give.
Right.
You shouldn't want to be cheap. So if you give a five, I know this is a five that you have, but your five is no different than someone else that says, "I'm going to sow 5,000." We had members when we were passing. We had some who sold great. We had people put it. Here's a check for 18,000, and people would never even know just what resources came in, and how. Now the flip side is, even in times when you had less people, you can do. We did so much more,
Yeah.
even with a few, because people understood the vision and said what we were about, what we were not about. And one of the things that I even adopted on occasion is an integrity offer.
Mhm.
I'm not going to proper lie to you and tell you that in 7 days, you know, in 7 days
Not
you're
the
going to get
proper
married.
lie, though.
Yes, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to give you an integrity offer. So all who claim you don't like liars, you know why your spouse is lying to you and your children are lying to you, because you enjoy lies.
Mhm.
So if I lie to you and tell you in 7 days, you're going to get $7,000, but you need to bring 1,000 now,
Right.
and you're in your common sense say, "Oh, this sounds great," and you come do it. You know what you're saying to a person that's integral? You gave a lying prophet $1,000 for lying to you, and you didn't even process your common sense. And then you gave someone that didn't lie to you $2,
$2. Right.
who told you the truth.
Mhm.
So it says to me that you're establishing a principle in your life to say you compensate those who are dishonest with you.
Right. Right. Wow. Ooh.
So it's a pattern on both sides. So a person that's a lying pimp in the pulpit, when they recognize that in order for me to be a pimp in the pulpit, it got to be some prostitutes in the pews.
Absolutely.
Because you can't pimp if you ain't got no
Absolutely.
pimperation.
Woo! Ratchet. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
that right there was good. That right. I'm gonna have to write that one down. Remember that, okay? I'm gonna have to write that one down. Whoa. But that is absolutely the truth. There's got to be. See, we never thought about that the last show. This is why we needed a man's perspective. You're right. There are prostitutes in the congregation that are willing to be pimped.
Mm-hmm.
And no
Willing.
matter, yes, with their time, with their finances, and
With their bodies,
yeah, well, yeah, I was
with
gonna say
their
that.
children, with their spouses, the list goes on. And it boils down to identity. A person that does not have their own identity is subject to whoever, whatever, whenever you're told to be that, and they will become anything to do so.
Wow.
Having that identity intimidates people. It's threatening, and you'll be crucified for knowing who you are and what you do.
Station break, because I know that it is. What is Vicky? Vicky said yes. Be transparent with the budget. Exactly.
Thank you, Vicky.
Exactly, Vicky. I know, like Yeah. Because I know for a fact, I have to say this, and um, you pimped me this way. You made me confident in who I am. And a lot, and I'm noticing and I'm realizing and I'm recognizing now that people don't like that because of the confidence. I think I sent y'all a text too, because of the
Yes, you
confidence
did.
that y'all. Let me tell you something. Before we went to your church, we were getting pimped all the time because they were like, give, 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 and we were giving, giving, giving. We're gonna build out the building, and the building never got built out. And so you know where I'm at now, right? And the building never got built out. And then yeah, keep giving, giving, giving. And we were doing that. And so we were being pimped and didn't know it at the time. And the building never got built, and this never happened, and that never happened, but we were still given. And I don't know if I want to call it naive or just being stupid, because after the first 2 years that it didn't get built out, the light bulb should have went off, and it didn't. And
Mhm.
so we were being pimped then, and then with the time, because we were always there,
Mhm.
and it just didn't make sense to me. But now, because I lacked confidence in who I was then, and then I ran into you guys, and it's like, well, hold, wait a minute, no, back this up. And now I am more confident in who I am. I'm more confident in my walk. I'm more confident in when I preach. I'm more confident in what I say. I say things and I'm intentional about it, because that was the one thing that you've always taught. Be intentional about what you're going to do and
Absolutely.
be intentional about what you're going to say. And so with that, you made me confident. And now the confidence is so strong now. It's like people don't like me.
That's a great thing.
Oh, is it?
It's great. It's not that people don't like you, it's that people don't know how to handle you with ease.
Ah,
And when people have to pause and prepare for you,
mhm.
that's really a good thing. I want people to prepare for me.
Okay.
Because if you don't prepare for me, then that says to me, if they when they respect you, they prepare for you.
Mm.
If they don't respect you, there's no preparation is made for you. And primarily, I don't expect you to handle or to take care of me. I'm going to take care of it. I don't even necessarily need you to respect me. But what you can't do is disrespect me.
Right.
It's a
Right.
disrespect for me to be anyone that I'm not. And for you to enforce or suggest that I be that, that's going to be a huge problem.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I could say about with you, and I'm very proud of your radio station. This is like this is super huge. This woman would not even touch a microphone,
No, absolutely not.
and she's smiling, she speaks highly of me, but she has been she has been through the ringer. When she's talked, I said stop. She probably got the most grief from me ever and ever probably in ministry in life. And I held a mic when she was talking, and I said, nope, stop, start over. Dot 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 dot.
Yeah.
And to see her growth, etc., her ability to say, I'm believing, I'm going to do it. This watching is a huge, huge miracle. So I mean, you
Thank
this is
you.
this
Thank
is
you.
huge.
That means so much coming from you. I like I said, I just I was tired of being pimped. I was just tired, and I'm just tired, and I don't want to. Like I said, it's the confidence that you, because I'm gonna call it a pimp, because I was prostituted into being confident, and I mean that in the best way ever, because I just know that I don't know where I would have been had not I come back in contact with you again. I have no idea, but I do know that the confidence that is in me now, you can't pimp it out,
Mm.
because I know who I am, I know whose I am, and I know what I am. So you can't pimp that out. And if you try it, it's not going to work, because I now consider it a pimp gift. Let me explain it. When I say a pimp gift, it's like you have this one gift that's wrapped in a brown paper bag, and then you have this other gift that is wrapped beautifully. It's layered. It's got the bow, and it's absolutely beautiful. Well, when people pimp you and mistreat you or mishandle the gift, or pimp the gift, or try to anyway. It's like the gift over here that's ugly, you just rip it apart, but that was the gift that had everything in it. But the gift over here that was so beautifully wrapped, you took your time to unwrap it and took the bow off, and the paper wouldn't rip, so you had to peel the tape off to get the paper off, is the gift that you need not even want to be bothered with. But the gift that you mistreated over here is the gift that you really needed. But the gift over here is the one that's going to blackball you the whole 9 yards, talk about you, mistreat you, and do the whole whatever it is. But you mistreated the gift that meant something to you. And so when I say that, that's what I mean by when I said you pimped me out, because this was the gift that was raggedy, and you took the time to mold with a lot of prayer, a lot of fussing, a lot of sitting down, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But you took the time to do that for me. And so when I say you pick, that's all in. That is such in a good content, because I don't know. I would probably, my self esteem would probably be really, really, really still low.
Well, I knew it was. I knew it was low. And you know what is so, and that's why I enjoy seeing your growth and your development and your strength. I mean, so they'll turn down and say you're arrogant.
Oh my God!
Isn't that so funny? You go from low self-esteem to you think you're all that. Well, guess what? It shouldn't be normal for everyone around to say I have low self-esteem. Well, what's the alternative?
Yeah, build it up.
What are my options? Well, you mad I don't have low self-esteem? What are you saying?
Yeah, it's
you built it, and that's been built in you. You and Minister Dwayne, I'm so proud of you guys. I love you guys, and your journey and your grandchildren, like, beautiful, like golly, like it's amazing.
I just appreciate it, because it's just like I try to help people with what you fed me on how to do, because even now, and I don't mean sorry, not sorry. I don't mean to, but it's like certain things I see now. It's like, oh my God, if you would have did that with that's the thing with accent, you better be picking yourself up off the floor. And I'm because I do it now, and I don't intend. I'm lying. Intentionally sometimes, because it's like, how in the ham sandwich, French fries, and quarter pounders do y'all do that and smile? I didn't know. You getting pimped, don't you know that? But it's because of what you guys have instilled. And for a millennial to come out and say that of really, all the preachers that he would have to want to listen to is you, says a lot. That says a lot.
That's really huge. And I don't know if you probably heard me in years.
It's been a while. It's been
wow.
Because every time I say your name, he says to me, when is he coming? Why they can't move back up here? He would be the only church that I would go to. So I was like, well, Malik, maybe when Brooke get a little bit older, maybe they'll decide to come back.
What God may do.
And he said, no, they need to come back now. I was like, well, they can't come back now. So as a millennial, and to hear him is it a builder up of your knowledge of God, or is it go somewhere else and be pimped out because you don't have what they think you should have? No. Or better yet, the prophesy. I don't even want to call it a prophet. A prophesy, because he had a pastor tell him that which really made me mad. Which he said to him something about that somebody was trying to set him up to kill him, and this, that, those, and the few. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" It's like, no, that ain't the will of God, and that ain't the promises of God, because I remember you saying that to him early on in life. And I said, no, that was already broken. So where's this coming from now? And I said to him, I said, you just got pimped, because it is no way, absolutely no way that you can say the same thing you said to my sister. How does that work? You just pimped out the whole kit and caboodle. You just.
Well, see, I stopped behaving. And see, sometimes people may think it's challenging, but even with my wife, when we go to services, I have conversations. I said, this is gonna happen. This is what's gonna happen. Da 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 da. Bam. When somebody comes, like they have a word for my wife,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I do? People are like, oh, people tend to no, because I need to know. I want to know what type you are. I've been doing this long enough. I
Right.
can see through walls. You hear me?
Superpowers, right?
And
Hey, Pastor
so what I
35.
want to do is I want to help prevent a situation.
Right.
So I've told people, don't pray for my wife, don't pray for my family,
Oh,
because
Jesus.
I don't
Hey,
believe you have
James.
any prayer power. And I meant exactly what I said. Because sometimes if someone is genuine,
Mhm.
don't come making announcements of being special.
Mhm.
So I don't know. You're not coming prophesying about, doing this, that, and the other, because I want to make sure that you're correct, your agenda, your motives, etc. All right. People to prophesy you out of your husband, out of your wife, out of your children, and have you
Only they
crazy
do
and
it.
psychotic. So I need to make sure that you have some type of moral commitment standards, that you love your family, that you love someone, and that you're not trying to
Right.
say something to get me to fall on the floor so you can get credit and props. I'm not
Right,
going on the floor. I'm
right,
gonna stare you right in your
right.
face. If you right,
My God.
and I'm gonna give you honor.
That courtesy fall.
I'm not giving any courtesy falls.
That's
See,
just
And you're not messing up
that's
my
what I
wife's
like.
hair or her lashes in the process just because you want stage life.
right.
You can
Exactly.
you can say hello and have a better relationship and a much better response being honest. But any form of dishonesty,
Mhm.
no,
No.
I
And
don't rock
see,
with it.
that's what I like about you though. That's what I like a lot is that when you say something, you stand on what you say. No matter what it is. I've known you for years, like years, and everything you've ever said, you have stood on 100%. You crossed every T, dotted every I. You stood on everything you said, whether it's been in church, outside of church, or just as a man, you stand on your word, and that's just something I commend you for a lot.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Well,
I
looky
really.
here. You can't have my forever. You better get your life all the way together.
Where Bishop Sturdivant? Hey, Bishop Sturdivant. I see you.
You better get your life all the way together. No. When it comes to him in the mid, I'm very, very
Oh
selfish.
man.
Very, very selfish. So no, get your own.com.
We love y'all. We love all of y'all. All of y'all. All of y'all. All of you are.
Somebody's
Question.
Don said yes, they will they will prophecy lies, won't they? And then you getting your that $1,000 line that I'm always talking about, or that $500 line, because they done told you your zip code, and now they done prophesied it to you because they probably live around the corner from you, and they done gave you your zip code, and now you want to empty out your bank account because they done gave you the zip code. See, I told you
And
I've been
how
around
you
Pastor
do
later
that?
on too long.
You handle. The flip to that is you sow healthily into places that bless you healthily.
Mhm.
When you seed into poor ground, into bad ground, you cannot expect the healthy harvest to come from that ground, period,
Mhm.
in any way, shape, or form. So if you're in a continuum where you're sowing into a place and you're reaping something so separate and so different than what you've sown, you have to stop and ask yourself, what am I sowing into? And if you don't ask yourself that, you're asking yourself, then what type of poison have I ingested, digested, that says this behavior is okay? And you'll see those patterns in relationship.
Right, right.
This is why, with going to church, Pastor, can I go here? Why?
Yeah.
I don't stop anyone from doing anything, but I want to ask you what it is why do you want to go? Why does this make sense for you, to you? If you want to go for this purpose, say this is what I want to go for.
Right, exactly.
I'm straightforward and honest.
Exactly.
So, moments when that's what I said. That's exactly what I meant. This is why I said it, because I don't like drama. I don't have all those issues.
Right.
I'm gonna have one conversation. You're gonna know where I stand, etc. And if you're a person that understands relationships and have healthy relationships, and we're gonna pull through, we're gonna work it, and we're gonna ride.
And you're welcome.
And you're welcome.
Yeah, like I said, it just pimps out people, and people don't realize. And like I used to say, when you know better, you do better. But Pastor Sturdivant checked me on that. He was like, "No, daughter, because some people know better and they still don't do better." So I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna say that no more." But as it regards to the pimps in the pulpit, when you said they manipulate, they and do a whole bunch of other things to get you to, pay for their cars and all of this other good, all of the other stuff that comes along with it. But my question now is, what happens to them? What happens if, for instance, a millennial comes up and he says he wants this, this, and this, and that from him? What does, as a millennial, what do you do? What do you say? How do you handle? For instance, I was talking to this young lady who was a millennial, and her question was, "How do you act one way in church and act another way when you're not around the church people, and then you want to be asking other people for funds or monies or whatever the case may be, or their time?" But she couldn't understand why or how she should handle it, um, and why she would have to handle it.
And this is a particularly an issue with the behavior of this
Mhm.
pastor afterwards.
Mhm.
Well, one thing is, I think people have to understand is that preachers, pastors are human.
Right.
And for a lot of times, a lot of pastors don't know how to express or to be human because you've had to be this example,
Mhm.
this beacon of light for communities, etc. Especially in times past. And so you find with different age groups as they go up, some that would say this is something you just absolutely can't do. As you move on down, they become a little more and more liberal.
Right.
And depending on a lot of people's varying experiences, they may have an expectation. If you're a pastor, you have to just be like that. You're a preacher, you have to just be like that. If you're supposed to be saved, you have to just be like that. Don't come on my job telling me how I need to be, because I don't come on yours telling you how you need to be.
Right.
And
right.
you're welcome. There are manuals.
Absolutely.
It's like if you have a
Absolutely.
personality automatically. Yeah, I do have a lot of personality. I'm going to continue. I'm going to make like my fan. It's in my bloodline.
Right.
And so sometimes you really have to ask, draw a line of what is the difference in, is this poor behavior, is this ungodly behavior, or is this outside of your preference?
Mm.
And are you the person to even have that conversation? Because if you have a baby daddy that is,
Oh man.
not so great, and then you have an opinion or perspective and say, well, the pastor he can't do this here. Well, guess what? This shows me that this is your type.
Wow.
Or that
Yeah.
she is your type.
Right.
I had to realize something with myself. I realized that if a person is like my type, meaning like you represent a friend of mine, someone I like or know, I'm more prone to like you.
Wow.
But if you have a name of person, I'm like, oh, you remind, that name right there. Oh, no. It takes me a moment to process that this is not that. That may not be this. Sometimes I just don't want to process it.
Okay. Well, we ain't gonna process it then. I mean,
it takes me to a place.
Yeah. So, what do you think? What are your thoughts about that?
I agree with what he's saying, but it's kind of hard. I understand it's kind of hard for some pastors because you've been this way for X amount of years or half your life, so it'll be kind of hard to trying to turn it on and off when you inside the church, outside the church. You just want to be this one thing just forever. So I understand.
And consistency.
Yeah.
So you see, I'm very consistent. You see,
Yes,
my page, like, I can't believe you said that. Like,
time.
people come to my page, like, what did you say? What is happening?
Yes.
But it's consistent.
Yes.
And the reason I do
Very.
that is it's a few reasons. But one of the base reasons I say I do it, it's easy when you're a public voice, whatever you want to call it, a preacher. It's easy. They're one of the easiest people that you could put a rumor out. You can say such and such said this, that, and the other.
Yes.
And when something is said or done, you say, I'm gonna let the Lord fight. They really don't hear from you or
Right.
don't know who you are as a person. I try to be. I'm so clear.
Yeah.
With where I am, where I stand, how I flow and function with
Mhm.
myself. It is going to be challenging for someone to just say and state, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
It's a part of your building process. So you should know so clear that doesn't sound right. This doesn't sound something else. And or I want you to know my voice so clear that if you heard another side, you're going to want to know me so bad that you're going to wish you were able to know me to hear my side just as well. This is going to be better.
Okay.
And you're welcome.
I just so appreciate that, because as it's me as a woman trying to explain things to him as a millennial male or man, and then Dwayne comes in to explain. I think that it comes off better. We hold a lot of conversations, and if you've ever seen the movie Bringing Down the House with Queen Latifah and Steve Martin, when the daughter tells him everything, and he goes upstairs, takes a sedative, put his head under the pillow, that would be me. And because some of the stuff they tell me, I'm like, okay, you got to keep the faith and just go, oh my God, and your insides are screaming. But I don't want him to, or any of them or any millennial for that matter to be pimped out because somebody says something that will tickle their ears.
Mhm.
Don't allow somebody to tickle your ears. Read to show yourself approved. Because that was the one thing that I know that I always tell him. Don't take my word for it. Go read it. Find out for yourself. Don't allow somebody to pimp you and say, well, because prime example, way back when, many, many years ago, this young lady joined a church and the pastor was really ratchet. And he told her, yeah, he was ratchet, ratchet. And he told her, how could two walk together unless they agree and they cover each other? Well, because she didn't know any better and because she was new in being Christian, he told her that she had to sleep with him in order for her to be covered. And I thought, no, something, no, no, absolutely not. And then it just kept going from there. And in my mind, I'm like, now I'm thinking, he really pimped her out because she didn't know.
Let me say this. Let me say this very clear. Anytime someone has to use God to get some, that's a low individual.
Very,
You know, you
very.
God, you don't have to be matchmaking. Say God said you. If you have to say God said you, that tell me you have some. Your game is tired. How are you booking people before God?
Right,
How are you getting
right,
numbers before you're a prophet?
Right.
When you have to incorporate all of these systems, most scenarios that involve any type of that is a form of manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times once people say or they hear God said, they stop asking questions.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah.
Not I, said the cat. Not me. When you say God said, then I should be able to ask questions because he knows I was going to ask you these questions upon
Absolutely.
you saying God said.
Absolutely.
So let me hear more about what God said.
But
and they incorporate that. And God said to give me your car keys. God said to give me your house. God said to give me your panties. God said to give me your body. God said to give. And these things don't line up with scripture. They don't. They're absolutely absurd. 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 You don't need God to play matchmaker.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And usually it's somebody you wouldn't even like. They're not even your type. You're not attracted to them. Hey, God has to say more than that. He has to give me the desire to even want to be with you in the first place. Because I don't desire to desire.
Yeah. So somebody said witchcraft. Cheryl said witchcraft.
Witchcraft.
Yeah, basically. Basically. But
God said, give me some.
.com. Yeah, but it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy that how you can be pimped in the pulpit if you don't know any better, or even if you know better and you still do it. And you need to take a step back and try to figure out what's going on in your life that you are allowing this manipulation to happen, or somebody dropping this guilt trip on you. That's a part of pimping too, when they dropping guilt on you.
Guidance.
Yeah.
People have leadership, and you can have a leadership and not necessarily have guidance.
Mm.
What God does is they help you to make sense out of leadership, even the parts you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that to guide. Like I tell you, I said, listen, I know you don't come here with all this, that, and the other. I know you. I know when you and this sounds like that. Boom.
Yeah.
I have friends of mine I talk to, and I say, I don't want to talk to you before 8:00 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I need to talk to you at 11 o'clock.
Right.
Or I need to talk to you from 12 to 1 or 12 to 2.
Mm-hmm.
I know your energy levels.
Mm-hmm.
I want raw you. Okay. I don't want I don't want you fresh out of prayer and you still know I need raw you because this person I need to talk to. Because if that's what you need, or if you need any type of assistance or how God uses me, I can't speak to the fictitious you.
Right. Wow.
Because I'll give insight to the person that you provide me with, that you are.
The imposter.
Yeah. So talk to me in your rawest hour. Because I'm gonna be talking you in mind. Like
yes, God. A to the men. I'm just saying, yeah, buddy. yeah, because you can catch them on the right day, y'all. Catch them on the right day. I wow. I have to say that I so appreciate you coming, and I think you've opened Malik's eyes to a lot of things that he had
Yeah.
as a millennial had questions to, and the fact that he's been itching for you to come up here. So I've not seen him smile this much in a long time.
Wow. Wow.
But when
I'm honored.
you have when you can relate to somebody that much and they appreciate you that much, it means for me it means a lot because I know that if he get on my nerves, I'm calling Pastor LeBron.
Come on to West Palm.
I'm gonna let you deal with him.
He might not come back.
And I just and I
Yeah,
so
West-
I so appreciate that because I don't, like I said, I don't want any of them to be pimped out because or the lack thereof. I want them to know, to have a foundation. I put up a foundation for them. I just need them to build on the foundation that they have. And most of his foundation is from you because he started out with you when he was 3. So
Wow.
yeah, he was 3. He was 3. So
That made me.
yeah, he was sitting in the front playing on his cell phone when we were in the hotel. So it
Wow.
means a lot to me for him to be able to relate to you like that way because he really won't talk to any other preachers. He's like, no, I'll wait for Pastor later on. I'm like, well, what if he don't come back? Well, I guess I won't talk about it until he comes back.
Wow.
But this has been great. I so appreciate you coming. I really appreciate you coming. You
Malik,
actually
thank
talked.
Malik, I appreciate it. I mean, I'm kind of I'm a bit overwhelmed. I've had my spiritual father. I'll be at his church tonight. As a matter of fact, I'm in DC for the next 2 weeks.
Ooh, cool. Okay.
So I came to spend time with some of my family who lost some family and things of that nature. But I'll be at Sword of Spirit tonight. What's that address? I made it. I put it on my page.
Ooh,
I
know
see
some Central
somebody in the comment section write it down for me. Hey, Bishop Certified. Oh, I see him. Okay, that is a preaching machine right there.
Oh my God! Oh, you
He's
call
one
him
of the baddest
Bishop?
one. Yes.
He called you apostle because we went to his church
Matter
one
of fact, he
day.
was in South Carolina. I was talking to his friend. He just left.
Oh my
Bishop
God!
Moisture. They heard about him down there.
We were talking one day, and he said, Apostle that taught you everything you know. I don't understand why you still doing what you doing. And I was like, huh? Okay, all right, Dad. I'm gonna go on and pay attention. He's like, he done taught you everything. Why are you still doing that? And I was like, okay. All you can do is put your head down when the two of them get together.
Some great leaders for years, and where I'll be tonight, Robert Bryan. That's my spiritual father. Who I love that man. I love me some Dr. Robert Bryan. I'll be at his church tonight. And healthy spiritual relationships with so many that I know that feeling that have given me such a healthy perspective that it gives me the ability and the freedom to be able to talk because I know what those healthy relationships can do and how they can benefit you. And I also know the damage of those unhealthy ones as well too. So I again commend you for having this conversation in the moment that you did, and I'm so glad to hear that you have had a healthy spiritual development, and it makes me say, let me get back and stay on my job a little longer, a little heavier. And make sure y'all follow me on YouTube. Hashtag wait, and you're welcome on YouTube. You just put that in it's already trending. Okay. I'm on there on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. live.
That's your word. And you're welcome.
And it's called Wake the Hell Up, by
yes,
the way.
Lord. Yes, God. Okay, the props though.
I'm a prop king. I get it from my mom. I'm gonna keep it.
Oh my God. Well, y'all, we're not out of word, but we're out of time. Man, I pray that we get Pastor Leron back here again. Because this has been great. This has really been great. So I usually do Gwen's intentional thoughts at the end. Okay. But if you would be so kind as to do the intentional thoughts for
intentional thoughts. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is. Let me just wing it.
Usually I'll say Gwen's intentional thoughts. I'll be intentional about.
Okay, I'm going to be intentional about doing Gwen's intentional thought this afternoon. And I'll leave you with the word be. And when I say that word, I want you to be intentional, as her word says, and to be very clear. You may not necessarily know what to do, but if you know what not to do, that's a huge step. Some of you are a lot smarter, more intelligent, more developed, and further than you think you are, just based on what you don't know. You could teach a whole new world just based on what you know not to do. what you've learned not to do. So don't feel incapable or inadequate. You're smart, you're intelligent, you're bright. Whatever space you've been placed into the world, you can effectuate change into. So I want you to be that intentionally, boldly. And if you can't do it where you are, then find some people that are different from you, spunkier, live out loud, not ashamed. And hopefully they'll be willing enough to teach you, show you, help provide guidance for you in that area, that department. And you be all that you are intended to be intentionally.
Well, this has been the Intentional Radio Show with my guest, Malik Hansler, and my forever, ever, ever, ever prophet, Pastor Lebron Atkinson. Co-Pastor Gina, love you, girl. You know I miss you.
Love you.
So, like I said, we're not out of word, but we're out of time. Come on, go to the prayer breakfast tomorrow. Starts at 9:00. Pastor James E. Sturdivant will be bringing forth the word. We're gonna have a time in the Lord. We're gonna pray. We're gonna eat, and we're gonna talk to God. So, see you on tomorrow. If you need the book, go on my website www.anwtk.com and /events if you want to buy tickets for the prayer breakfast tomorrow. This has been the Intentional Radio Show, and we'll catch you next time on Intentional. We out. Deuces. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Made me nervous. You always make me nervous. We are on FaceTime.
Oh, have FaceTime.
I mean,
she's nervous.
Facebook. Yeah.
Facebook. Yeah.
Subscribe.
So what am I on?
Atkinson's YouTube. Oh
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you,
Dawn.
Good looking out, Dawn.
See, Dawn Arlene made a comment, so you can subscribe right there for YouTube and see us in the morning. I don't know where I'm gonna be Sunday morning. It's Father's Day.
Ooh, happy Father's Day to you.
Yeah. So.
Wow. That's gonna be special.
Yeah, special Father's Day.
Dwayne want to go kayaking, so I'm sending him on his way.
Oh, you're not rocking, huh?
No, I got some other stuff planned, and I got to do that. So, all right, Facebook. Thank you for coming. My forever. I don't care who know it. It's
forever pastor.
Yeah.
Tell your friends. Tell mine.
Behave.
No, that wouldn't be me.
And you're welcome.
And y'all welcome.
Hey, babe, how you doing?
Mr. Dwayne too.
Oh my God, I'm not fooling with him. So, it's been a blast. He said,
"Happy Father's Day, Mr. Dwayne."
It's been a blast, y'all.
Love you, love y'all.
You gotta come back and see us again. Don said this was great. Yeah, you gotta come back and see us again because this was off the chain. Oh my God, I loved it. You made me nervous. All right, y'all, we out. This is. Oh, Don said, and you're welcome.
You're welcome. I love God.
Oh my God. Oh, and Dwayne with the smiley face. You're so funny, babe. All right, talk to y'all later. Bye. Oh my God. You still make me nervous. Why?
I should make you nervous.
Because you
nervous.
do. Oh my God, you make me nervous. I'm stuttering over my words. I'm like, what the world? Post this video to keep it. Yeah, probably.
Can I consider it? Look.
What's that?
1%.
Oh, it went that long.
Just in time. Look, it ended just in time.
Man, that was great. Oh my God, thank you so much for coming.
Please.
This was like a breeze. I'm so glad you said that. My forever.
Right.
Don't get it twisted.
That's what you should have lost. You're like, oh my,